Hello Pisces, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we're going to look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, especially if you're a cross-watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Pisces, we're going to jump on in. We're going to start with looking at overall energy through oracle cards first. And then we'll dive deeper into the story of the tarot as we progress. So we're going to start, Pisces, with looking at your side of this connection to the person that you're dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. This is for Pisces' side of this connection. Ooh, okay, this is a tricky balance. I feel like you're trying to walk a thin line here when it comes to this connection, because you follow your heart with boundaries, and you also have unfinished business. So I feel like you're dealing with a connection that you feel has a lot of potential, but at the same time feel as if that potential has not been fully realized. But I also feel that like you obviously are very drawn to this connection, and I feel like you're trying to follow your heart in pursuit of trying to make things work in this connection. But with this boundaries card, I also feel like you're trying to balance that with protecting yourself. So I feel like something happened in this connection, and it's almost like you're proceeding with caution in some sort of way regarding this relationship. And I don't necessarily know, you have romance here. I don't necessarily know like what happened, but I do feel that there's kind of this level of caution here when it comes to this connection. So let's see what is going on with this person's energy. And that caution could also be from like experiences and past relationships too. This person's energy toward Pisces. One more. Ooh. Interesting. Shattered reciprocity with detachment. So this person feels very distant from this connection. And I don't necessarily know in what way, because I feel like this is a connection that both people do desire. I do feel like there's like a mutual desire here, but there's also like a mutual level of caution. I feel like this person has been hurt in the past, maybe in this connection, maybe in other situations. And it almost feels like because of that, they are like almost like they struggle with allowing themselves to be fully vulnerable and connect like on a deeper level emotionally, even though there is a desire there. So it's almost like they often are perceived as like very detached, almost like they don't care. And maybe that's why you're trying to protect yourself here, is because there's this part of you that's like not really sure where this person stands or how they feel. And it's like you want things to work. Both people have that desire. I feel like this person knows that you have feelings for them in a way, but is like, oh, there's this fear here. A fear that is keeping them detached. And I feel like it stems from the shattered card. It's like they've been hurt before. It's like maybe they're a little bit what's the word? Like jaded when it comes to love. Truth of the connection between Pisces and this person. Ooh. Ego. Friendship. Both of you really value the other person. Especially with this friendship card, it's like you value each other's presence in your life, but it feels like there's something that is keeping this connection from fully being able to develop. I'm surprised we didn't see, because this deck has a card that says interference on it. I don't see that, which surprises me, because it feels like there's something interfering with it, almost as if like something that's coming in between the connection, something to do with ego. And I don't necessarily know if it's like a decision-making thing or just like, because our ego isn't to be demonized. You know, its primary goal is survival. However, the issue arises when our ego starts to make decisions for us, even if those decisions aren't necessarily what's best for us, but it knows, like our ego knows it can survive those situations. So we see this a lot like in people who tend to be very emotionally avoidant. Their ego is trying to protect them from getting hurt from that depth, even though their soul craves that depth. So they keep themselves at a distance and they, you know, push people away because it's what keeps them safe. The same other kind of thing can come on the side of like chasing, when we're used to experiencing the lack of love that we deserve and desire. We might have a tendency to look for it in emotionally unavailable people, and we receive the same experience of not having it. And that is our ego, because our ego is saying, no, this isn't what we want, but I know I can survive this. So it kind of feels, and this feels like it's happening on both sides. It feels like there's this war of like, you feel very drawn to this connection, but then there's also this just like, I don't know, there's something interfering with it developing. There's a lot of passion here. I feel like you guys are both equally very drawn to the other person. Like this is not a one-sided thing when it comes to feelings. But again, it feels like unfinished business. It feels like things haven't fully developed to the full potential of it. Let's just keep going. I've only pulled a few cards, so. So let's see, what does Pisces need to know about this connection? Changes will be made. Changes have to be made too, I kind of just heard. Lessons are being taught. Changes will be made and lessons are being taught. So there's a lot more to the purpose of this connection in your life than just like the connection itself or the other person. I feel like this feels like it's pushing you into like a deeper level of awareness, into more, because you stand your ground, like into more love for yourself almost. It's like it's pushing, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like this is going to make more sense later. So I'm going to start pulling tarot, and then I'll come back to kind of those messages at some point throughout the reading. So let's start, Pisces, with your side boundaries with follow your heart. This is for Pisces side of the connection. Pisces side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. 6 of Cups in reverse. So it feels like you've been dealing with, whoa, okay, the 5 of Swords. There's that kind of like, that wall, because you have a wall up too. But your wall, I feel like, is because of what's taken place here in the past. 3 of Pentacles. Knight of Wands in reverse, Knight of Cups. Oh, this is a difficult place to be. It's like you have such strong feelings and strong emotions and such a strong pull toward this connection, but I feel like you don't feel completely safe in this connection for some reason. Maybe because, again, it's like you really have your walls up. There's a lot of defensiveness in this energy. I feel like in the past, because what I was going to start out with, especially with the 6 of Cups in reverse, I feel like you've been dealing with this connection for a really long time. I feel like this connection definitely has a history here. If that doesn't resonate for you, then this dynamic is something that is very, something that you've dealt with in your life before. And I feel like what I'm kind of seeing here in your energy is there's this desire that I feel like no matter what, you cannot seem to shake. Like, I feel like you have this desire and this pull and this draw toward this person. But at the same time, you've been hurt a lot in this space that it's almost like you feel as if you don't have a choice but to put up walls and protect yourself. And I think that is making things really difficult and complicated because it's almost keeping you stuck. It's like you don't have the love that you want or that you deserve. But at the same time, it's almost like there's this fear of missing out on what this connection could be. So you're kind of in this just like liminal space almost with this connection where it's like it's not where you want it to be, but you're still hoping that it can be more. And I feel like that's where, because it feels like you're almost trapped in this experience here. And I started this reading out with saying that. It's like you're trying to follow your heart, but you're trying to protect yourself at the same time. And yeah, that's a really tricky balance. And I feel like there's a lack of trust. I feel like you don't feel like you can trust this person. Trust this person to like be safe with your heart, like to take care of your heart almost. It's like, even if, like there doesn't need to have been like infidelity or anything like that, but it's almost like you don't trust that this person is going to be there, to have your back, to show up. And I feel like that's based on past experiences. So yeah, this is a tough place to be in for sure. Especially when you are dealing with someone that you have quite the history with. This person's energy toward you, Pisces. Detachment with reciprocity. Okay. Yeah. I feel like this person is carrying a lot of their past experiences and relationships into this connection. There's a lot of projection here. So 4 of Swords in reverse with the Tower. I feel like there are things that this person has dealt with. I mean, it may be even just throughout childhood. Like, it doesn't need to be with past, like, romantic relationships, like trust issues and just things that have wounded them. And I feel like those wounds have remained very untouched. Like, there's this lack of healing them and the situations that cause them, which means they've brought a lot of that into this connection. You know, there's the Ten of Pentacles. And then the Knight of Swords on the bottom. So I feel like it's really hard to really truly understand this energy, this type of energy, when somebody has like feelings for you or cares about you. That's like bare minimum, right? Somebody loving you is very different from somebody being able to and being willing to love you well. And I feel like this person I don't feel like they're coming from a malicious place. I don't feel like they're coming from a place of like trying to hurt you or take advantage of you. I feel like they're coming from a very emotionally detached place. It feels like, and this happens when we go through a lot, of trauma, and we go through certain experiences, we tend to shut down. You know, if there's no healing, if there's no working through these things, then we start to almost like shut down and dissociate in our life. And I feel like with this Four of Swords, it's like this person has been through a lot, and it feels like they've kind of gotten to this energy of really shutting down. And I feel like they bring a lot of that energy into this connection, which, although, you know, we can understand and have empathy for that, that doesn't mean that it's fair or that it's something that you are deserving of putting up with. Because I feel like what is happening is this person carries a lot of, I said this at the beginning, I said I felt like there was a lot of fear. And seeing this Nine of Swords, I feel like a lot of the fear stems from their own insecurities. It's like they have a lot of experience with getting hurt in the past, and there's a lot of expectation of being hurt again. And I feel like what makes it even harder is I feel like, you know, no matter how much you pour into this or that you try to love them or be there for them, I feel like, you know, they're not doing the work that they need to do. Because, you know, I have learned that yes, we can heal in healthy relationships when people are loving us, you know, well, or loving us in the way that we've always wanted to be loved. But that healing has to actively be the individual's decision to make, and it feels like this person is very avoidant of a lot of things, really. I feel like they're avoidant of their own emotions, they're avoidant of taking accountability. I feel like they're avoidant of you know, just in general, like, just feel like they just avoid anything that's uncomfortable or that pushes them into like a deeper emotional state. And I think that in this connection, there's probably been a lot of problems that have risen from that, you know, whether it's been them not being there for you or them not reciprocating, you know, the effort, or you know, them making unhealthy choices and decisions, like whatever the case might be. And I feel like there's been a lot of times in this connection where you have taken that very personally, which it is a personal connection, so that makes sense. But you know, what I've really learned is that every single person in this world has a certain capacity to love, to give and receive love, and that capacity is dependent on that individual's level of healing and the consciousness, essentially. And if somebody isn't doing the work, then their level of their capacity to love is just not going to be what it is that you are deserving of. And that isn't a reflection of your value. It's not a reflection of what you're capable of having. It's a reflection of that individual's level of healing. Now, another thing that I've really learned is that every single person in our life is a mirror. They are always reflecting back at us things about ourselves that we're needing to address. And I feel like from the outside looking in, when you look at this connection, I feel like, yes, this person has a lot of issues and a lot of things that they need to address and maybe behaviors that they need to change. And all of that might very well be true, but I feel like this connection is pushing you to grow, heal, and make certain changes to your approach and to yourself here. Because one of the things that is absolutely certain is that we can't change other people, and when we can't change a person or a situation, then we are being asked to change ourselves. And looking at what we're needing to do differently in order to, because when we're not experiencing the love that we desire, the consistency that we desire, the compassion and understanding that we desire and deserve from another person, it typically means that there's a lack of that within ourselves. And when we're willing to look at things from that perspective, then we take our power back. Otherwise, we spend so much of our time, being frustrated with other people for, the things that they lack and the ways that they aren't treating us well and loving us well. And we try to change that. And we try to do everything in our power to get them to love us and to value us and to treat us well. When in reality, it's not, first of all, it's not our responsibility. And second of all, it's not in our power. We don't have that kind of control over other people. Now, I've certainly been in relationships in the past where I've seen and have had a lot of empathy for the people that I've been dealing with, emotionally avoidant or emotionally unavailable people. And I've wanted to help them see their own light so that they could, experience all of the love that I had to give. And I understand wanting to be there to help somebody through their own journey. But when we're trying to help someone through their own journey who isn't really doing the work on themselves, then we're self-abandoning because we're trying to put every single ounce of ourself into trying to fix, save, or heal another person. And when that is the case, we are leaving our own energy essentially very depleted, and there's nothing left for us, because if we're not giving the energy that we need to ourselves, and the person that we're dealing with the person that we're pouring into isn't giving the energy that we need, then who is, right? So I feel like this connection is asking you to change your perspective a little bit, because I feel like there might be this tendency to over prioritize and overvalue how this person is feeling and what this person needs and how this person needs to be loved, and undervaluing how you need those exact same things. You need love, you need empathy, you need understanding. And I think it's always easy to want to be that for another person, but if we're trying to be that for another person and in the process abandoning being that for ourselves, then since our relationships are a mirror, we're going to experience the energy of not having that in another person. And so I feel like there's a lot about this connection that is asking you, there's a lot about this connection that's asking you to look within a little bit, to go a little bit deeper below the surface, instead of oh, they're doing this or they don't do that. Looking within and saying, and what am I doing? What do I not do? What is this pushing me to see about myself? How is this pushing me to heal? Because, other people very rarely change for us, but we can change for ourselves, and that can eventually lead us to the love that we deserve when it comes to ultimately just taking our power back. If we're if we're looking for another person to be what we need, but we're not being what we need for ourselves, we're going to experience the reflection of other people not being what it is that we need. So yeah, this is a deep one for sure, but we're going to hop on over to the extended You Have Friendship with Ego. I'm going to dive deeper into this connection, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Thank you so much, Pisces, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Pisces.